This past week for the Course and Grounds team was a busy week as the deep tine aeration took place, as well as the continued mainline irrigation project. With the forecast supposed to be dry Tuesday through Thursday, this did not take place unfortunately, and the deep tine aeration got off to a slow start with a very wet Tuesday. This meant that a lot less sand had to be put down on the first few greens, but you can see here clearly the value of the deep tine aeration as water quickly moved through the surface as this process took place on greens. The greens that did not receive the full heavier rate of sand will likely need a follow-up sand top dressing in the weeks to come, and the greens that did receive the full rate were cleaned up quite nicely and the holes were pretty much filled with sand, which was fantastic to see. The reason this deep tine aeration does not take place during fall aeration is because this is one of the most aggressive processes that we can do on greens. During fall aeration, there's still a lot of good golf to be played in late September, the start of October. So with our aeration week in September, we go with much smaller diameter tines and we only go to a depth of 4.5 inches. This allows for far quicker recovery and greens to return to normal far quicker. With this deep tine aeration, we are going with 1/2 inch diameter tines going down to a depth of 8 inches. So far more disruptive to the surface, and it does take a little bit longer for greens to return to normal. That's why this work is delayed until after the closing day. You may notice some coarser grains of sand on the greens, and that's correct. Our sand top dressing during the golf season is with much finer sand. However, it's important to introduce coarser sand particles when we can, which we typically do during the aeration weeks and with this deep tine aeration. If we didn't introduce a coarser sand at select times throughout the year, the more uniform, finer sand would not allow us to achieve the firmness that we are looking for on greens. Number 7 green is already now receiving very little sunlight, almost just an hour a day, and buffalo blowers were actually needed to be set up to try dry this sand, but ultimately the sand did dry. It was brushed and rolled and cleaned as well. The green will likely remain open for another week or so before it is closed as normal until early next year when the grow lights can be utilized. The weather did turn drier and sunnier for Wednesday and Thursday of this week, and we were able to complete a number of greens with that heavier rate of sand. All greens have since been rolled multiple times and will be mown on Friday before the rain returns this coming weekend. As always, thank you for watching this video, and thank you for your patience and understanding while we perform this critical work to prepare the greens as best possible for the upcoming winter.